All right. All right, Chris, we have our Rastelli 26-ounce premium pork ribeye steaks. These are item M81589. We are on 5 easy payments of $24.20. These are on auto delivery today. Every 90 days for a year, we have our free shipping. This is one of our, I feel like I say this a lot about our products, but this truly is one of our favorites because it is so different than the pork that we grew up with.
You know what, Brittany, it's actually, and this is something that's in my freezer all the time because there's so many things that we can do with it, which we're gonna show you.
Yes.
But what I love about this, it is a pork ribeye. Just like our beef ribeye, it is the pork ribeye, which comes from the ribeye, which we actually get from small local farms right over the bridge, right here in over the bridge of Pennsylvania, right?
This is from Pennsylvania.
So this is from Pennsylvania. This is our Amish friends that are bringing us this incredible Duroc pork. And what the difference is when we talk about the Duroc pork is it has the same marbling. It's comparable. Think about how we talk about Black Angus. This is the Black Angus of pork, okay? And this is absolutely delicious. And where do you ever see a pork, right, that's juicy? Like every time we see pork chops, it's just not juicy. You don't see juices coming out of this. The reason you see that from this pork is because the incredible marbling that's in there.
Right.
And it gives you an unbelievably juicy, delicious pork chop that you probably never had before, Brittany.
No,
or most
definitely
people
not.
probably never had from the supermarket.
No.
And what I just want to show you, because this is why you can't do this with a pork chop. I'm not even gonna use a knife. I'm gonna cut right through this. This is that tender. It's just absolutely amazing because growing up as a chef and being in the culinary world, pork chops were one of the hardest things for us to make because they were always so dry. Everyone had a dry experience with a pork chop. So as a chef in a restaurant trying to cook pork chops, it was challenging. This is not that pork chop. This is not that pork chop. If you haven't had a good experience with pork chop, I urge you, I promise you that you're absolutely gonna love this pork. The absolute flavor and the juiciness, it's just second to none. I mean, it's just that delicious.
It really is. This is one of those things that when I first tried it, I could not believe how different this was than the pork that I grew up with. And I remember also my grandma used to cook the pork so long because she grew up in a time where you had to, right? So it would just be so incredibly well done that even if it was somewhat decent, you were never gonna get there. So this is something that we use all the time at home. Like Chris is showing you right now, this is something that we use for taco night, fajita night. We have our rib night with these, and I'll let you go over all of your ideas that you share. But this is something that we, if we would do it with chicken, we do it with this, and this always tends to be even a little bit more flavorful and enjoyable. My kids call this Poppy's pork chop. I have a video of them saying it.
That is a very good name for it because it really is that special. And I mean, I love this because as a chef, to be able to use pork and to use it where it is fork tender and so delicious, and you can use it in so many different things, Brittany. Let me cut you a little piece here.
Please do so. Right there. Take this one?
Yeah, take that one. And tell me, I mean, how?
It's just consistent every time.
I mean, every single piece is absolutely tender, delicious, juicy.
Delicious.
And all that marbling that you normally don't get in the pork, you're getting here. And one of the things I love doing with this one, Brittany, is I love doing pork cutlet. And I'm gonna just pull this off here for a second, just show you what I do. So this is just one pork chop, right? That I just gently pounded, right? Just lightly in between saran wrap. It will pound out. So simple, you can almost press it with your hand. That's how tender it is. And then we just take it, you have it, look at that.
I have a hot one for you.
That's even better, okay.
There you go.
Let's put it over there. And then what we do is we just flour, egg, and breadcrumb it, and it comes out like a cutlet. And when I say a cutlet, you're not gonna know. You're gonna be eating this cutlet, and you're gonna say to yourself, oh my goodness, this is the best thing that I've ever had. You can tell them it's chicken, you can tell them it's veal, but you know what? It's pork, and it is absolutely so flavorful from all that marbling that is, it gives it, it just elevates it. Where chicken sometimes doesn't have that flavor, Brittany, right?
No, sometimes it doesn't.
Sometimes
Definitely
it doesn't.
not.
Yeah, but
and being able to really stretch it, and what do? You pound it out a little bit, make a cutlet style?
Yeah, I just pound it out, and I can tell you right now, when my wife and I do that, we both can't eat one of those.
No.
That is so big that we actually cut it, after I bread it, I cut it in half, and we have pork cutlet. We actually do applesauce with it, which I know is very, very common, but we love applesauce.
It's classic.
And
it's not, yeah, it's classic.
It's classic. But you know what else we do during the fall?
Mm-hmm.
I cook off some raviolis, like some pumpkin or squash ravioli.
Right.
With the pork cutlet. It's absolutely delicious. A little sauce, a little brown sauce, whatever you have at home, and it just makes it a really incredible dinner. And again, just look at this. Look how, literally, how soft and tender and beautiful these chops are. These now, again, we call these pork ribeyes because it's actually from the ribeye, right? We take all the bone off, we take all the fat off. You're gonna eat this from end to end. And what's really special about this, Brittany, this comes in from our farmers, fresh, every single morning to our butcher shop.
Right.
Right? And then what we do is we finish, we trim it, we cut it, we put it in the vacuum sealed packages, right? Which I think we have right here.
I have it right here for you. Yes.
So we put it in our vacuum sealed, which locks in all the freshness, keeps all that bacteria out. So it's absolutely, it's gonna last a year in your freezer. But look at that.
Bowl
Look how
of cold
beautiful
water
that is.
for about 30 minutes.
If you're not prepared like me, yes.
Or me.
But if you're prepared like you at home, you're gonna take this out the night before, okay? Because I'm not prepared. So I'm putting in a bowl with cold running water for 30 minutes. But
So a funny story about the pork ribeyes, and I've told this story before, but it's just one of my favorites. We had rented a house for New Year's Eve with our friends, and every day one family was in charge of the meals. So Ray and I brought the pork ribeyes, and our friends were like, wait a minute, you guys brought the pork ribeyes? You didn't bring steak? You didn't bring lobster? You brought pork? And we're like, just trust us. And all of them till this day are fan favorites of the pork ribeye because they could not believe how delicious it was. Ray just kind of defrosted them, went out on the grill, and we had them just like this with some great sides. And it was just one of those things that people can't get over how delicious and how much flavor this has by itself. I mean, we can certainly put the barbecue sauce on it, make it into a cutlet, but again, you're getting 20 of them. So on those nights that you just want to eat it as is.
Yes, and I just went through this with my fork right down the middle. I didn't use a knife, and this is because it's from our farms that we've been dealing with, and it's absolutely a ribeye pork. You're getting all that marbling and all that flavor that's gonna make this super tender. And Brittany, you know what? One thing I found that I think that's really nice about this, if you're scared about cooking pork, right?
Right.
Because we say cook it to 145. That's really where you want to take it. Let it rest for a few minutes. It's going to cook for another 5 degrees to about 150. But old school people are still nervous about pork, right? They just are, and I understand. But if you cook this to 150 to 155, you're still going to have a juicy, tender, delicious pork ribeye steak because of the marbling and the quality of the pork. That's going to give you a absolutely delicious, moist, tender pork chop.
So if anybody is just tuning in, we are on item M81589. This is the 26-ounce premium pork ribeye steaks. It's on 5 easy payments of $24.20. Auto delivery is available every 90 days for up to a year. We have the free shipping and handling. These are individually packaged and blast frozen. These are locally a partner of ours here. So this is definitely something that if you are into high protein and you want to have a lot of that going on in your freezer, the 20 count is a wonderful option for you.
Oh, it is.
So many different things to do: fajitas, pork cutlets, salads, barbecue, and the list just continues to go on, and seasonal as well. I mean, this is something we, like you said, we could do it with the apples in the fall, we could do it with the peaches in the summer.
Absolutely.
It really goes well with everything.
One of our favorites.
Yes, definitely. And your kids' favorites too. Poppy's pork chop.